Hello friends, welcome to the MARE podcast. Before we get started, you can find our podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts and YouTube. Don't forget that you can find more about the MARE project at www.marehamburg.com, and you can support the project and this podcast through Patreon. All the links are in the description. Enjoy! Hello friends, welcome to another episode of the MARE podcast. It is another very special episode that I have for you today. I have Ansgar and Aleksandra today with me at the podcast. They are representatives of the DEGUWA, which is the organization for the promotion of underwater cultural heritage in Germany. I'm sure they'll tell me all about it and they'll explain what it is. It's part of MARE's ongoing collaboration with the DEGUWA that we're trying, because our missions have a lot in common, and we thought, why not collaborate and try to make something out of it? So welcome to both of you. Welcome to the podcast.
Hi.
Hi. Thank you very much for having us.
Thank you very much for the invitation.
It's an absolute pleasure. So let's start. Can you please tell me a bit about yourselves and what's your involvement with the DEGUWA, or what's your involvement with Maritime Archaeology, if any? Who wants to start? Maybe ladies first. Do you want to go first?
Okay, sure. Yeah, so I'm Aleksandra. I'm 24 years old and currently in my master's in underwater archaeology. And I've also studied archaeology already in my undergraduate or my bachelor's degree. I've been a diver for many, many years, and this is also how I got involved in underwater archaeology and DEGUWA, just by being interested in underwater heritage already during my studies. I started to study archaeology during COVID, and when I learned about the online NAS Foundation course that DEGUWA offers, I enrolled in it just to kind of get a few contacts in underwater archaeology during COVID already. And that's how I kind of got my first introduction to all these lovely folks and the mission, basically, and started to go into their conferences and now being on the podcast.
Lovely. Thank you very much. How about you, Ansgar?
Yes, I'm Ansgar. I'm 56 years old. I'm not an archaeologist. I come from the cultural sector, cultural office. I'm a team leader of a placement service for performing arts, opera singers, actors, and so on. And I didn't become an archaeologist because I thought the job perspectives were too vague. No? But I've always been interested in archaeology. And when I retire at latest, I will immerse myself, my archaeology studies, and complete them. But every year I volunteer on archaeological projects. I pay for it, and I do all what I can to support the research, as I'm doing now here. For me, an important step was last year the training as a research diver, which gives me which is the gateway to professional underwater archaeology. And in Germany and the EU, you only can work as a diver, as a scientific diver, under contract or on behalf of official bodies, if you have this certificate. And for me, it was a great step. It was quite sportive, but I managed it. Yes, that's all for me. I'm a layer person.
Oh, nice. I mean, I have so many questions now about, arts and culture and opera, but I'm not going to go into that. I think I need to thank you for your service and for helping Maritime Archaeology and for being interested and being here and doing that. So since you wanted to mention that you're the senior in the group, do you want to talk to us about the DEGUWA? What is this? Where did it come from?
It's rather old, not as old as me. It is, we have the DEGUWA since 1991, huh? And it's it's a field of it's a group of diverse people. Lots of them are archaeologists, of course. Of our core, our board, our core group is partly of university professors, of students, of research assistants and divers, of course, but there are a lot of laypersons as me, or as some enthusiastic people who are interested in archaeology. And it's very important to have them all. And yeah, you can have 6 goals of the DEGUWA, which characterize the work. For example, the conference, of course, the journal skills, the basic courses we do, our political lobbying, especially in case of the UNESCO, and nowadays again the promoting and participating in projects.
Lovely. Okay, you mentioned a lot of things there. Let's take it one by one. So since you mentioned training, Aleksandra, you said you did some training. Do you want to talk to us about the training that happens at the DEGUWA, and also what was your training about and why did you like it?
Yeah, of course. So the DEGUWA is basically the German branch of the Nautical Archaeological Society, which is UK based, and has its own training system. So you have the NAS Foundation, which is the first layer, and then you have a couple more layers or tiers above that. And the DEGUWA does NAS Foundation courses via Zoom, which is how during COVID I got first introduced to it, which basically just serves as providing a common ground for all the different kinds of people that are combined within DEGUWA. So if you have diving experience but no archaeological experience, this gives you some insight into how to operate as an archaeologist, especially as an underwater archaeologist. If you have archaeological experience but no underwater archaeological experience, or maybe aren't even that well versed as a diver, this also gives you some insights into how to conduct underwater excavations. It's of course very basic. It's still only theoretical, but then besides this, there are also further courses that you can do. So once a year, the DEGUWA also offers a practical course in an indoor diving center where you learn how to kind of measure underwater, how to draw underwater, how to navigate in a smaller section underwater, like not the big scale navigation. Oh, how do I find an entire wreck, but maybe how to navigate in one diving site or one excavation site. Yeah, and we have our own teachers or tutors in the DEGUWA that conduct these courses according to the NAS standards, and you can also get credits for it. And then as you kind of participate in the conferences and the different types of courses or Zoom lectures that the DEGUWA also does, you can collect more of these credit points, and then at some point you can reach the highest tier of NAS courses, which I do have to admit I kind of forgot what the highest tier right now is called. So yeah, the bottom one is called Foundation.
Award of Maritime Archaeology.
Yeah, right, exactly.
Okay. Nice.
Yeah, that's pretty much the system.
I mean, it's a very cool title to have. But okay, so the instructors that you have at the DEGUWA and the people who are working there, they're not doing it. They're volunteers, right?
Yes.
They also
I think that's important to mention, that everything that happens in DEGUWA, it's on a voluntary basis. People do it out of their happiness and free will and free time. So they said that's a very important, and I think that shows how, you know, they do it because they like it and not because they have to, not because they need to make money out of it. So you threw the word UNESCO around.
Oh.
So what's going on between DEGUWA and UNESCO? What is this relationship about?
So we are a special, we're the NGO in Germany, the only NGO which works together with the main board of the UNESCO, especially for the topic of the Convention of Protection for Underwater Cultural Heritage. And yes, we promote in Germany the fact that Germany hasn't ratified it. How to say in English? Yes, ratified it. And so we meet all the other NGOs together to talk and to change interests and ideas and all the other stakeholders. But also we speak with all political parties to go further on now on this topic.
Very nice, very interesting, and very important.
Yes.
Especially, I think the part where you need to lobby with political parties for underwater cultural heritage. That sounds like a very difficult thing to do. I mean, keeping in mind that people would say this is the last thing we care about, or is that the reception you're getting? Or
Yeah. The important thing is to explain people what the convention is about. There's only 40 pages, but it's such an uninteresting theme, I think, for the most people. Though we have to promote it, have to explain why it is important to ratify. And nevertheless, it's a convention of the UNESCO, and it should be important as itself for Germany to ratify it. There are only 6 conventions, and why doesn't Germany ratify it?
No, it's a very good question. That's a very good question. I'm not the one to answer that, but yeah, good questions all around. So then we move on to like the other activities that DEGUWA does. There are the conferences, and I think there's one coming, isn't it? Can you tell me about
Yes.
the conferences? Please tell me.
Yeah, so we have our annual meeting, our annual conference, which is called In Poseidon's Realm, which has been going on since 1996 already. So this year is going to be the 31st edition, I think, and it's going to be happening in the beginning of May in Batumi, Georgia. So also wonderful occasion for really diving into all those different topics of underwater archaeology, if you'll forgive this play at words. And
Puns are allowed in this podcast.
wonderful. Yeah, so we have, despite being the German Association for the Promotion of Underwater Archaeology, we actually have quite a international and widespread audience and membership, which also is mirrored in the places that the conference takes place. For the last couple of years, it's been back in Germany, but this year again, we're moving abroad for the conference, and we usually have around 100 or more people present there, coming from all stretches of the world, from America. This year, of course, very prominently the area around the Black Sea. Yeah, it's really an amazing opportunity to just get together, to have people of different branches of archaeology with different topics and specialties. Then, of course, not all of them are scientists. Like Ansgar said, we have a lot of just archaeologically interested people in DEGUWA, which are also very important for this communication and for just exchanging information and views in archaeology and just spreading the science, basically, and getting more and more people interested in what we're doing. And
yeah.
Yeah.
I think I truly believe that the people who are not archaeologists but are interested in archaeology are the super crucial to this whole establishment that we have and we do, because we don't do archaeology for ourselves. We do archaeology for everyone.
Yes,
and
exactly.
If everyone doesn't want the archaeology, then it doesn't work. So I think that if people who are not archaeologists engage with archaeology, it makes a huge difference.
Yes,
so
absolutely.
Before we go, because I believe that listeners will be interested in that, when you say that there are a lot of topics covered in the DEGUWA conference, can you maybe name a few, just so people have an idea of what big conference this is? Do you remember? Is it from ships to harbors to, I don't know, maritime cultural landscapes to what's going on?
Yeah, absolutely. Basically, all of what you just mentioned. We usually have a topic for each year's conference. This year, of course, it's centered around the Black Sea. But last year, it was shipping images, which can be kind of read in different ways, like images of shipping as in iconography, or other imagery of ships at trade, or the shipping of imagery and art good, like, let's say, all the statues that were sometimes shipped on ships like the Antikythera or something. So yeah, but usually we also have a lot of other presentations within one conference that are not necessarily super close to the topic, but are just recent results in something or recent research.
Yeah, that's very interesting. No, it's very. And where can people find out about this conference? Your website?
Yes, exactly. We have a website where you can also register for the conference. We have the program already there. The conference is happening from the 7th to the 10th of May, but in the days before that, we have an accompanying cultural program with field trips throughout Georgia and also a diving course to a wreck site, I believe.
Diving course.
But yeah, we have all the information on our website and also on our social media, which are Facebook and Instagram.
That's fantastic. Yeah, a diving course I never heard that before, but good job. I mean, that sounds excellent. I imagine the call for papers is closed now. Must be closed by now.
Yes, it was already closed since December, I think.
But people can still join.
Yes, absolutely.
Excellent. All right. I mean, that's, and you also, wait, answer me that, because I actually heard about that, but I didn't research it. Do you have like a journal paper that you publish?
Yes.
Or is that not the case anymore?
The DEGUWA is a publisher of the journal Skillis. It's a maritime limnic archaeological journal. And the main content is, these are the lectures of the conference in Poseidon's Reich, in Poseidon's realm.
Okay.
And it's a peer-to-peer reviewed journal, and it's without our conference and the subsequent editorial work, all with volunteers, it would be difficult to publish such a specialist journal.
Oh yes,
regular person. And it contains the written contributions from the previous 1 or 2 conferences, and consequently covers findings in or around the sea, shipwrecks, ports, related topics from antiquity to modern times. For example, amphora analysis, production, trade, typologies, anchor stones, ceramic from underwater finds, and shipbuilding techniques. Yeah, stuff like that.
A bit of everything. Lovely.
Models, but also techniques for documentation, conservation, and the legal and political aspects relating to the prospection of underwater cultural heritage. Reviews of articles and books, of course. And geographically, topics have so far, unfortunately, remained almost exclusively in Europe or the Middle East. The Aegean, Adriatic, Baltic, Black Sea, of course, for a German journal, it focuses on the Baltic and the Nordic, Northeast, and inland lakes, rivers. So you also have the Hanseatic cocks, barks, and pie dwellings.
Oh yes, absolutely. Yeah, that's very true. And I think it's generally, I think for us that live in the area and work in the area, we get exposed a lot to things that are mostly Mediterranean, Baltic, the Black Sea, blah blah blah, all that. But it's, I think it's
Asia would be nice, huh?
Oh yeah, of course. And since you say that, since you give me that opportunity, we in MARE we've been trying. We brought Jay Mock on board, who's a scholar who works in Asia, and we're trying to broaden our horizons to go to Asia as well and see what's happening on the other side. And because we have, of course, Nikos, who brought his view from the US and the Americas and all that. There's us who do Europe, and now we're trying to reach the whole planet somehow.
That's really cool.
We still have a lot.
At some point, we can do like a joint MARE DEGUWA conference in Asia.
In Asia, that'll be fantastic. It sounds scary to organize, but good ideas all around. So
maybe for the next generation after us, so we can just like enjoy the conference, and the people that are going to come after us, they actually organize the conference.
Yeah, that's smart thinking. That's very smart thinking, because we will go to the conference, we will be thanked for starting the process that ended on the conference. We wouldn't have done any work for the conference. Fantastic. Anything's great. Anyway, apart from that, what's the future looking like for DEGUWA? What's happening? What are your goals for the future? What do you want to do? Where do you want to expand on?
Our next conference is then the first goal. It's still exotic for us. It's the farthest point we did, and so to focus on the Black Sea as a frequented region in Europe, it's a nice goal. It's something else than the Lake of Constance, perhaps, for example. So to continue the conferences is our next goal. Then, especially this year, it is the 25th year of the UNESCO Convention on Protection of Underwater Cultural Heritage, and we do everything what we can to force Germany to ratifying it.
Mm.
And yes, the third important thing Aleksandra said, we have to spend more time, more occasions on social media, the new website. We want to reach more young people. To be completely honest, we have a problem with young talent, and all our hopes therefore lie with members such as Aleksandra.
Okay.
And of course, it's also rather new and built from thanks of the young people. We once again are practicing and taking part in archaeological projects as we do it now in Polace since 2023. Yes.
Very nice. Okay, then Aleksandra, since you're the local expert in youth engagement, how do you think people can reach younger audiences? How does DEGUWA go about this? Or not DEGUWA, anyone, how would they go about this? Where do you think is the key? Because this is a bigger question, right? It's not about like organizations reaching younger audiences, it's about everyone reaching audiences in general. So as the local expert in it, what's your opinion? What's your take on that?
So I wouldn't necessarily call myself an expert, probably just a child of my generation, which of course is growing up with social media and becoming better and better at it. So this is also why since the end of last year, the DEGUWA has now an Instagram, which we're very happy about, that we can also utilize this next to Facebook and our homepage, because of course it gives the opportunity of much more personal insights. I would say we can, for instance, show insights about our upcoming excavation project in Polace in Croatia. We can show more natural insights during the conference, which, nothing. Stuff doesn't have to be so formal all the time. I think this is one of the biggest issues that, especially in Germany, we have a lot of hierarchy when it comes to science. And a lot of other countries, I think, have turned this to their benefits. They're just kind of dismantling hierarchy and going for a more personal approach. And I think this just makes younger students and young researchers feel more invited and makes it easier to approach someone else or an organization, which is also why I very much love the fact that in the diving community in Germany, we use the informal you usually, because so in English, you only have the you, no matter if you're on a first name basis with someone or calling them with all their academic titles. But in German, we have the du and the sie. And usually in the diving community, because you never know from what background someone is coming, you usually just use the du for everything. And then maybe sometime you find out that they're someone really high up in the hierarchy of a bank or something, or they have 3 doctorates or whatever. But it's just very, very informal. And this is also something that I really enjoy about the DEGUWA, that people get very close quite quickly. And usually during the conference, it also feels like a family. But yeah, we definitely need to get better at reaching newer audiences and not just counting on that already established conference family, which is also why for a couple of years we've now been collaborating with the DESV, which is the German umbrella organization for archaeological student councils in Germany. They kind of unite all of the student councils at the different universities. They also have a lot of political power. For instance, right now, the Archaeological Institute at the University of Berlin is threatened by the cutting of several positions and closing the entire institute. And the DESV just has a lot of power because it's not just one university and one student council trying to fight a big decision within the politics. It's out of a sudden it's 40 universities fighting for one. It's kind of like also very musketeer-y, I have to say, one for all and all for one. But it does work. And because everybody's so interconnected through this, because everybody has WhatsApp, has Instagram or whatnot, and is communicating with each other, The DSV is also organizing conferences throughout the year and gatherings. And ever since we've been collaborating with the DSV, we also have a special discount for DSV members when it comes to DEGUWA Foundation courses or participating in the conferences and stuff. So I think through this, we've been able to just lure in a couple of more young people who hopefully in turn are going to tell their friends and their student councils about it and just spread the word.
Okay, that's very interesting. So before we started the recording, you told me that you moved away from Germany to do your master's in maritime archaeology because there's no such thing as maritime archaeology in Germany.
Yes.
Would you like to change that, or why do you think does that happen when DEGUWA has been around since 1991? Was it? Yeah, 1991. Would DEGUWA like to change that?
I'm not sure if changing the curriculums of universities can be considered. People in DEGUWA, such as professors from different universities, that are trying to change the curriculum at their respective universities, which, of course, being in contact with them already through DEGUWA, hopefully might open up a few job opportunities if their goals come to fruition. And I think to support this also through DEGUWA is very important, that even though we're not necessarily academically involved, we still have a little bit of momentum that we can use for this and just to support the respective professors in their endeavors. But in general, I would love for Germany to finally have actual maritime archaeology studies at their universities, which hopefully is going to change in the next few years, maybe in the next decade. Because also looking back at the history of maritime archaeology, it took so many years from the beginning of the discipline until it actually became a program in, let's say, Texas A&M, which I think was the first university to have underwater archaeology.
Yeah. I mean, to be honest, it took a lot of years for underwater archaeology to become archaeology,
yes,
and not treasure hunting. So
yes,
these things take time. These things take time, definitely. But yeah. So I think that's a good introduction to DEGUWA for the people listening, to what the various missions are, what does DEGUWA do. Is there the training that you mentioned? That happens in English as well, right? So, or is it only in German?
It is so far in German, I believe. At least when I participated in the class, it was in German. Because also most of our teachers or our volunteer teachers are German-based.
Okay.
Depends on the members. I also heard a lesson in English some weeks ago. No?
Okay. So if there's enough interest, I mean, you can do it. You can give it in English as well. So that's very important for the people listening.
Some of them are speaking English better than me. They are the tutors in this case.
Yeah. Anyway, so do you have? Maybe I'll ask to Ansgar now, because I've been talking to Aleksandra for a while. What is your personal goal with DEGUWA? What do you want to achieve in DEGUWA?
I think the aims of DEGUWA are important, and I just want to do something which is important. And yes, for me, it's a little bit more than a hobby to do.
A little bit more than a hobby.
Yes, it's more. Nice. It's a second work. Archaeology.
Yeah, it became a second work. So, what's your favorite part of archaeology?
I'm not
curious.
paid for it. And,
yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I wish to study archaeology in a strict, an ordinary way, and after that, I want to be an archaeologist. Yes, of course.
So, do you have a favorite time period, or a favorite artifact in archaeology?
10 years or so. Yes.
Okay.
Some of the archaeologists are on this age. Yes, it's possible. I think
everything is possible.
Sportive and being a diver with 70 or 80 years.
Yeah, absolutely.
But there's a lot of work to do afterwards, and or the registration and so on. And yes, I think it's very important, just because of the climatic change. And yes. Or
Yes.
the work which is done especially in the North Sea and the East, in the Baltic Sea. So
Absolutely. No, I fully agree. So I want to thank you both for being here. I want to thank you both for participating in the MARE podcast. I want to wish you success and luck in everything we do and everything DEGUWA related. I will call for the people. I will add some links in the description so people can go and see and check out the conventions and DEGUWA and all that, blah, blah, blah. So, Aleksandra, do you have any closing remarks? How should we close this podcast? What would you say to the people listening?
Oh, wow. That is a big question and a lot of responsibility to come up with a good closing remark.
I always do this because I can't think of anything. So that place the responsibility on the people. And I've been like, I mean, my thought process that they've been speaking, they've been talking for a while. Maybe they thought of something cool and they want to say it. So please throw it at us.
Yeah, I guess maybe just to always keep in mind that participation is important, no matter if you're an upcoming student, if you're finishing your studies, or if you're already well advanced in whatever your life's career is. Just participate for the things that you think is important. Especially, like Ansgar said, with climate change being an immediate problem nowadays, and also being an immediate problem for underwater archaeology, why the ratification of a convention like the one in underwater heritage would be so important. But yeah, just participate, go out there and stand for what you believe in.
Okay, that's very nice. That's very nice. Thank you to both. Thank you everyone for listening to another episode of the MARE podcast brought to you by the Honor Frost Foundation. And I'll see you all in the next one. Bye.